Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone. For the first time,
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
first of all, is to Lord God to give us His mercy and His blessing, and also healthy body and spiritual until we be able to meet together in this international seminar. Well, today we are going to discuss about the challenges of learning in pandemic uh, pandemic, and also we should know about what should be innovation, especially for all teacher and lecturer, for develop the education and learning for our student. But before we are going to discuss about what should be our topic today, let's we watch or see the video below, who will be which will be promoting about both of institution. I mean here, University Muhammadiyah Buton, and also Yuzan University San Antonio, Philippines. So for technical of agenda, please for showing the video below.
University of Muhammadiyah Buton, or Buton, is the business charity of the largest Islamic organization in Indonesia, founded by Kiai Haji Ahmad Dahlan Muhammadiyah. This college is located in the heart of Bau City, Southeast Sulawesi Province. This city is known as the owner of the largest castle in the world. On the other hand, Bau City also has a strategic location as the connecting city in the western and eastern regions of Indonesia, so the service and trade sector continue to grow in line with the city's development. Bau City has variety of other potential, ranging from estate crops, beautiful beaches, stunning natural and cultural tourism objects, and various Islamic historical relics of the Bhutan Sultanate. University of Muhammadiyah Buton, through the governance principles of good university governance, was present to provide answers to the needs of excellent and professional human resources through the implementation of education and teaching based on entrepreneurship, conducting research and publications that are adaptive to technological developments, and relying on community service-based research and innovation. The character of the students through the inculcation of the values of Al-Islam and Kemuhammadiyahan, supported by the development of global competitiveness, becomes the strategic vision of University of Muhammadiyah Buton. Public trust to University of Muhammadiyah Buton proved by the increasing number of students from year to year, which in 2019, University of Muhammadiyah Buton received more than 1,627 new students and displaced on the second position of Southeast Sulawesi in obtaining the number of new students.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton memiliki visi menjadi universitas yang profesional, unggul dan islami yang memiliki daya saing secara global. Visi ini akan dapat dicapai melalui penyelenggaraan tata kelola perguruan tinggi yang islami dengan prinsip Good University Governance, penyelenggaraan pendidikan dan pengajaran secara profesional yang berjiwa entrepreneurship, penyelenggaraan penelitian dan publikasi yang berkontribusi terhadap perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan, teknologi, dan seni, penyelenggaraan pengabdian pada masyarakat berbasis riset dan inovasi, penyelenggaraan pembinaan sivitas akademika berdasarkan nilai al-Islam dan kemuhammadiyahan, penyelenggaraan kerjasama dengan perguruan tinggi, pemerintah, dan lembaga lainnya pada tingkat nasional, regional, dan internasional.
In the field of University of Muhammadiyah Buton Education, it continues to improve academic and non-academic services to its academic community, increasing the capacity and competence of lecturers, continues to be a concern of University of Muhammadiyah Buton, which is carry out various activities ranging from lecturer further study support, seminars, workshops, and lecturer internship programs. University of Muhammadiyah Buton has 147 lecturers who have master's and doctoral degrees. There are 7 faculties and 15 study programs, including the Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, consists of Government Studies and Communication Studies. Faculty of Teacher Training and Education consists Elementary School Teacher Education, Guidance and Counseling, Indonesian Language and Literature Education, Biology Education, Early Childhood Teacher Education. Faculty of Economics consists of Accounting and Management Study Programs. Faculty of Islamic Religion consists of Islamic Education and Awal Asasiyah Study Program. Faculty of Engineering consists of Civil Engineering Study Program. Faculty of Agriculture consists of Agribusiness and Aquatic Resources Management Study Program. Faculty of Law consists of Law Study Programs. To support the teaching learning process and other activities, University of Muhammadiyah Buton has built representative facilities and infrastructure. It also completes campus facilities with a library, mosque, internet network or Wi-Fi, civil engineering laboratory, basic science laboratory, computer and language laboratory, micro-teaching, early childhood teacher education laboratory, judicial room, counseling service unit, Wonam Korea Foundation, and Office of International Affairs, hall, Sang Surya Mini Mart, and representative parking area. University of Muhammadiyah Buton currently has 3 lecturing buildings, namely 4-floor lecture buildings on Betuambari Street, Bawah City, and 1 lecturing building and 2-floor lecture buildings on Poros Bau-Bau Pasarwajo Street. To support the student character, University of Muhammadiyah Buton has committed to develop the potential interests and talents through student activities such as BEM at the faculty level, HMPS at the study program level, student art and sport activity unit, student entrepreneurship unit, tapak suci, and other extracurricular activities. The development plan is also being prepared for an area of 17 hectares to be devoted to the construction of an integrated campus. University of Muhammadiyah Buton has ideas to get global reputation that is demonstrated through various collaboration both locally, nationally, and internationally. Joint international community and cultural program has been held every year since 2018 with foreign students from China, Saudi Arabia, and Tajikistan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pengembangan akademik Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton, penyelenggaraan catur dharma secara holistik merupakan target kami. Dalam bidang pendidikan, Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton senantiasa berinovasi dalam transformasi pengetahuan kepada mahasiswa guna membentuk mahasiswa yang profesional dan berjiwa entrepreneurship, beriman dan berakhlakul karimah berdasarkan nilai-nilai al-Islam dan kemuhammadiyahan.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton menerapkan tata kelola berbasis Group University Governance. Untuk itu, pengembangan kompetensi dosen, pembangunan sarana dan prasarana yang representatif, pengembangan IT, serta investasi pembangunan kampus yang optimal, Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton berkomitmen memberikan dan membangun tata kelola keuangan yang sehat, transparan, serta akuntabel.
UM Buton konsisten memberikan layanan akademis dan non-akademis yang inovatif. UM Buton memulainya pada saat pembentukan karakter mahasiswa baru melalui ISK training.
UM Buton menyadari bahwa kerjasama adalah poin penting untuk mewujudkan perguruan tinggi yang berdaya saing global. UM Buton juga memiliki komitmen yang utuh sebagai bagian dari perguruan tinggi Muhammadiyah dalam memberikan kontribusi maksimal bagi pengembangan al-Islam dan kemuhammadiyahan seluruh sivitas akademika khususnya dan masyarakat pada umumnya menuju masyarakat yang berkemajuan. Demikian, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ayo kuliah di Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton.
Welcome to the University of St. Anthony, Iriga City, Philippines, an institution where quality education is a tradition. The university was founded in 1947 by a medical practitioner, Dr. Santiago G. Ortega Sr. As you enter the university gate, the founder's monument is readily seen. Adjacent to the monument is the university chapel, where we usually start our day for God's blessing. This is the administration building, which houses several offices, including the President's Office, Registrar's Office, Accounting, University Research Center, Community Extension Services, Human Resources and Development Office, and the Guidance Center. This is the St. Anthony Padua Hall, which houses the High School Department. In this hall is the Biology and Chemistry Laboratory. Beside the high school building is a covered walk that leads to almost all buildings, including the Doña Felisa Ortega Hall, which houses the Montessori Grade School Department, where the clinic is found. Beside the Montessori Grade School is the Graduate School, which houses several offices, including the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Graduate School Library, Graduate School Accreditation Room, Graduate School Defense Room, Faculty Room, Graduate School Classroom. Juxtaposed to the Graduate School is the Mini Hotel, the training laboratory for hotel and restaurant management student. Behind this building is the University Dormitory. 3 buildings are slated for Dean's offices, laboratory, and classrooms. The forum or auditorium, sports, and educational facilities are strategically located in the campus. Offered at USAN are the following: Montessori Grade School, Junior High School, Senior High School, Knight High School. Degree programs offered: Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Marine Transportation, Bachelor of Science in Marine Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Bachelor of Science in Office Administration, Bachelor of Science in Hotel and Restaurant Management, Bachelor of Science in Tourism Management, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Bachelor of Science in Accountancy, Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Architecture, Bachelor of Science in Criminology, Bachelor of Secondary Education, Bachelor of Elementary Education, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Bachelor of Arts in Communication, Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, Bachelor of Arts in English Language, Bachelor of Library Information and Science, Diploma Course in Midwifery. Graduate School offers Doctor of Philosophy in Education, Master of Arts in Education, major in English, Guidance and Counseling, Science, Special Education, Physical Education and Mathematics, Master of Arts in Nursing, Masters in Business Administration, Masters of Science in Criminology. At USENT, students are provided the opportunity to develop their potentials for moral, social, spiritual, cultural, and productive lives in a democratic society that recognizes the dignity of individual. Truly, USENT is your next step towards a brighter future.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think the video is below is a special introduction about show of institution. And right now, before we step to the opening remark, firstly, I should like to say greeting and welcome to Rector of University of Muhammadiyah Buton, Dr. Waode Al-Zarliani, SPMM, and My Excellency, the President of USAN, that is presented by Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, Dr. Jos Blestores, PhD, and also Dr. Arlene as a, as a representative of Faculty Teacher Training and Education. Thanks for attending this international seminar. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we know that this international webinar is a part of USAN and UM Buton fresh partnership, which signing by memorandum of agreement between the two institutions last February 2022, and with a maiden event jointly hosted by UM Buton and USAN College of Accountancy on February 24 last month ago. Well, I give the time for Rector of University of Muhammadiyah Buton for being a keynote speaker in this seminar, for giving the information and also the motivation for us for being active in this seminar. Okay, please welcome for our lecturer, Dr. Waode Al-Zarliani, SPMM. The time for her.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My Excellency to all Vice Rector of UM Buton, My Excellency to President and Chairman of the Board University of St. Anthony, Philippines, Mr. Ati Santiago de Ortega, Mr. Dr. Jos Ballesteros is Vice President for Academic Affairs, My Excellency to the Speaker of International Webinar today from Philippines, Mr. Arnel Turiano, Mr. Christian Lamuts, proud to Mrs. Waderiniati, Mrs. Nurdahniar, and Mrs. Andileli Nurmaya, and all the participants from University of Saint Anthony and Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and magandang umaga po. Let's send praise and grateful to God Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing and guidance. So we are given healthy and can join this webinar held by Usan and OM Buton. In this good opportunity, I would like to say thank you very much to Mr. Ati Santiago de Ortega as the President and Chairman of the Board University of Saint Anthony that has support and welcome the implementation of this webinar. Moreover, this is the second chance of collaboration Israeli is an effort to increase and expand partnership network in Asia and sharing knowledge to others. Related to the theme about the learning innovation and challenge in elementary school in new normal era, that is very interesting to be discussed. Right now, after the pandemic of COVID-19, it has been given chance to the school to teach the student directly. But the session of course different in every region depend on the situation and readiness of the school site. Ladies and gentlemen, the important thing is the teachers should know the best way to improve the student spirit and motivation in learning and the involvement of parents in accompanying their children. Learning innovation is an effort to update the various components needed in the delivery of subject matter in the form of knowledge from educator to student with the aim of improving the quality of education. Ladies and gentlemen, all participant webinar, learning innovation is something that is important and must be owned or done by teacher. This is because learning will be more alive and meaningful. The willingness of teacher try to find, explore and look for weird breakthrough approach, method and learning strategies is one of the support for the emergence of various new innovations. Without the support of the willingness of the teacher to always innovate in their learning, learning will saturate students. Ladies and gentlemen, and all participants webinar today, factors that must be considered in learning innovation include teacher, student, teaching material, and environment. The strategies for implementing innovation learning are as follows. The first one, master learning theory, enrich understanding of learning method, review the material to be taught, recognize the condition of the class and the student, make observation on the previous lesson, evaluation on previous lesson, and make improvement to the previous lesson. Finally, innovation becomes something that must be tried to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, come together to open international webinar today with your Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I declare that it is officially open. Thank you to all participants. Hope this activity is useful and is a very amazing opportunity due to getting knowledge. Before men inspire others, let's try to fill our time with useful things for our success. Once again, salamat po. Nasrun nolihobatun karib, wabak siril mu'minin, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for Rector of University of Muhammadiyah Buton for giving her keynote speaker. And secondly, I invite the President Yuzan University San Antonio that is in this opportunity represented by Vice Rector of Academic Affairs. Please welcome Dr. Jose B. Ballesteros, PhD. The time for him.
Thank you very much, Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton. Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton, Dr. Waudi Al-Sarliani, SP, MM, the President and Chairman of the Board of the University of St. Anthony, Attorney Santiago D. Ortega Jr., my colleagues who are with us, who are on board in this webinar, the faculty members of University of St. Anthony and Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton, the students, and to all of you who are on board and those watching us via Facebook and YouTube, good morning to everyone. Salamat pagi. Let's have a virtual clap.
Thank you very much.
Clap for all the partnership of USANT and UMB. Our partnership started 2 months ago or a couple of months ago, and that partnership brought us to 2 highlights, to 2 milestones. And that is, number 1 is holding a webinar in accountancy or on accountability. And now we are venturing into a webinar on learning innovations and challenges. March 15 in the Philippines last year, March 2020, was like martial law because you see a lot of military personnel, checkpoints because of the declaration of the enhanced community quarantine that prevented all of us from moving freely and even prevented schools from continuing the learning and teaching process. It was so difficult for us because we did not know how to end the semester. We had to shift from the usual traditional or physical learning classes to online learning classes. But the students, their families, and even the schools are not actually ready to cap the semester. As administrators, we also found it very hard to start the semester, school year 2021-2022. However, because of strong determination and future thinking, university as well as other universities in the Philippines were able to start online distance learning just so that we can continue learning even in the midst of pandemic. It was difficult. Schools had to invest. Schools had to innovate. And among these innovations are the use of a learning management system. Our school uses a learning management system so that we can facilitate, track, administer, document, report, and innovate all our delivery, all the educational, instructional deliveries. We also have to invest on technology infrastructure, and that includes having a Wi-Fi, a campus-wide Wi-Fi. And that is the reason why we are now able to engage with you. Okay, before, having a virtual conference was something that is unimaginable, but this time it's like at the tip, it's like easy for everyone because of these virtual learning platforms. And that is because of the pandemic. Had it not been for the pandemic, I should say, I think we will still be the usual way. We will still be delivering the instruction, the traditional way. USANT also had to think of how to acquire electronic books and digital books. All these are actually in place this time, and these are our innovations. However, there are so many challenges. Among these are the teacher's competence, how we can actually teach or enhance the online teaching and learning competencies of our teachers and students. Also is on connectivity. Not all of our students and even the faculty members have the internet connection. Another is the word connection itself. How to teach online is so difficult. How to connect and relate to our students and pupils is also very difficult. The next one is also competence. It's another challenge because we have to train our faculty members, retool our faculty members. Okay, so all these things actually uh, are uh, are happening, and all of us, the faculty members, the administrators, and I think also Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton are also doing their best so that both institutions can actually surpass all these challenges despite this very volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment. I think we also have to look into the positive side of this pandemic, because this pandemic also brought us opportunities, a way to think forward, a way to move forward, and that is actually fast tracking the education 5.0. Because of this pandemic, we had to think immediately, act quickly, and that is agility. Because of the pandemic, transportation costs and other operational expenses of schools were also minimized. So there are the upside and the downside. But as educators, you, my dear students, who will also be future educators, we have always to be positive, no? Positive in facing challenges so that we can overcome them, so that we can reach our goals, and that is to disseminate or spread information, to educate students, and to so that they will become learned individuals. So I think USANT and UMB partnership will continue. In fact, I'm already thinking of another webinar with, of course, with Ma'am Rini, the International Affairs Officer of UMB, this time on the humanities side and liberal arts side. We have Professor Estrella Arroyo on board, and also some of our deans. In fact, I think all of our deans are on board watching our virtual engagement, because we are always excited and we are always looking forward for more ventures, international ventures, while there is still pandemic, because we can do these things even with a pandemic or even in the post post-pandemic era. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, my respect and honor to Dr. Waudi Al-Zarliani and her counterpart in USAN, Attorney Santiago de Ortega Jr., for making these things possible. Thank you and terima kasih.
Thank you so much. And what has been explained by Dr. Jose Balester, PhD, just now, I think having similarity with what we feel from Indonesia today, especially in a pandemic era, for how to start the learning and teaching in COVID-19. But I get one conclusion, but and also I think this is very very good for us. What Dr. Jose Balesterol PhD said just now is we not to be like the people pessimists in this era, but we have to be optimistic, and we also must to think how to be having imagine and doing something creativity and innovation in this pandemic era. Thank you for your suggestion for us. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have many of speaker in this opportunity. For the first speaker, I would like to invite Mrs. Waode Riniati SPD MHUM. Topic: the challenges, models, and supporting media for teaching and learning process in new era. Waode Riniati SPD MHUM is a lecturer in University of Muhammadiyah Buton and work in primary teacher training and education department. For Ibu Waode Riniati SPD MHUM, the time for you. For yes.
Excuse me, I must laugh now because I have another meeting. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, and all participants in this seminar, Ibu Rector said to us that she has another meeting today, so it's okay for us to continue our seminar. Well, in the first for the first speaker, will present her topic. Please welcome to Ibu Waode Riniati SPD MHUM by the topic, the challenges, models, and supporting media for teaching, learning process in new normal. The time for you. I think you're...
Yeah, my slide, please. Uh,
7 minutes, 10 minutes.
okay. Okay, thank you very much for the chance, Mr.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, opening.
Yes.
Thank you. Before starting my presentation with my topic, I would like to greet firstly uh, Honorable Director of University Muhammadiyah Buton, Mrs. Dr. Wada Zalianis PMM, and all Vice Rectors of UM Buton. Special honor to Mrs. Ati Santiago de Ortega as the President Chairman of the Board, University of San Antonio, Philippines. And my honor to Dr. Jos Gilesteros as Vice President of Economic Affairs. And then my honor to Mrs. Dr. Allen as the Dean of Primary Education Department. Yes. And then all the speakers, but from Wembutan and Ulsan. And then special for all the participants who can join this webinar this morning. Okay, yes, I would like to say, magandang umaga po to everyone. Selamat. So the topic that I have to present is about the challenges, models, and supporting media for the teaching learning process in new normal. Yeah, as we all know that during the COVID-19, we are still vigilant and must always obey the rules of health protocols. Based on study states that the closure of learning in schools has led to a decrease in average test scores by 25%. This pandemic has also reduced the effectiveness of primary school years as seen by children from 7-9 years to 7-3 years. And then in addition, UNICEF also said that the pandemic has the potential to reduce students' basic competencies due to decreasing quality of learning time. Yeah, so this is I have about the situation COVID-19 in Indonesia now. This I access on 22 March. Yes, total number from the case of active and then specimen and then suspect and then another things. You can see my slides. Okay, then. Yes, the longer face-to-face learning is not a cure, the greater the negative impact that occurs on the child. That is what students feel in pandemic of COVID-19. So there are things that can try to give the impact for the students that I mean. That is about the rate of dropping out of schools. Yes, because there were so many students, I mean the children who are just stay at home, so the children have to work. Yes, that is the most important thing that this happen in the condition right now. So the risk of dropping out of school is because the child is forced to work, to help finance of his family in the midst of the pandemic crisis. And then about parents' perception. So many parents think that the students will have to study at schools. Yes. So many parents cannot see the role of the school in the teaching and learning process. Yeah. If the learning process is not done face to face, that is parents' perception. And then growth and development constraints, that is about learning achievement gap, the differences in access and quality of learning can lead to the gaps in learning outcomes, especially children from different socioeconomics. So there were so many backgrounds of the students outside. So there were rich family, there was a poor family, so they can give the gap. Yes, with the set of social economics. And then unoptimal growth, the decline in participation in early childhood education, so that it loses optimal growth and development in golden age. And the risk of learning loss, that's the loss of prolonged learning process, a risk to long-term learning, but cognitive and character development. And then related to psychosocial and domestic violence that can make this will be stress. Yeah, the lack of interaction with teachers, friends, and then the outside environments can pressure due to the difficulty of distance learning and can cause stress to the students. And undetectable violence. So without school, many children are trapped in domestic violence without being detected by the teacher. So as we know that when the teacher, when the students and the children, there are so many possibility for them to get the violence. To the next. Yeah, so this is the Minister of Education and Culture, Mr. Nadiem Makarim, emphasized that actually since the beginning of 21 and 20 and 21, limited face-to-face learning has been allowed. Yeah, so in the pandemic, that is yes. And then the government has to the possibility of face-to-face learning, yeah, starting January 2021, while still implementing strict healthy protocols. So this policy was taken based on the results of the evaluation during the implementation of the distance learning policy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. Now we move to the next slide. The challenge of teaching learning process. So it's related to the distance learning readiness. So there are so many kinds of things that should be considered. It is about technology, that is about platform digital, and then content, the availability of national curriculum that can be accessed, and then pedagogy, teacher readiness, the ability of parents to accompany their children and students, and then monitoring, that is the process of monitoring, access to learning, and then learning outcomes. Next, please. Next. Yeah. So teacher competence tested. So, new learning method. One of the things that may be the main challenge is regarding the teaching staff. Yes. Face-to-face class where the teacher can directly see the students. In online learning, in the new normal era, the teacher can only see them from behind the glass screen. Yes. So the effort is needed to ensure that all students are able to attention to the listen properly at the time. So the competence of a teacher is tested. And then in the teaching learning process, a teacher is even required to be able to understand new technologies that can support their teaching activities online. They also still have to convince students and that teaching and learning activities can still be carried out normally. Yeah, so the reality now is that many old or senior teachers have not really mastered the diversity of technology today. And in addition, are also expected to be able to maintain teaching and learning activities to be more enjoyable and full of interaction. This can treat children's longing for face-to-face learning and make the classroom more lively. For this reason, teachers should be able to have creativity in creating enjoyable learning. The next, please. So that's the picture of the students. Yeah. Educational institution must be able to ensure the safety and comfort of students in the teaching and learning process. So the using of platform or digital media for video conference or even text-based application is the favorite choice for many education institutions. Yeah, so it is proven that in some schools, the teachers give assignments in the form of video related to their subjects, and sometimes the students search for assignments on the internet. But the questions will be appear. Does the sophistication guarantee the safety and comfort of the students during the teaching learning process? Yes, because we know that hackers right now, so the safety of our data, yeah, we have to try to make our data safe. Yes. And then when all information is transmitted over internet, educational institution must ensure that students' data is safe and secure. That's what I have tried to inform you before. Apart from data privacy, there is an environment for students that can ensure their security from cyberbullying to personal information. And then the next thing that the peace of the children will be affected by the using of digital media. Yes, uh, our sites, yes, our mental psyches. Yeah, so this is the video of the students right now that I found in my surrounding area. So I want to.
Mengukur panjang benda. Benda yang diukur adalah panjang meja. Mengukur panjang meja menggunakan meteran. Caranya adalah tempatkan ujung meteran yang berangka 0 di sisi meja, lalu ditarik. Meteran sesuai dengan panjang meja. Yang diukur, lihatlah angka yang ditunjuk pada sisi meja lainnya. Hasil pengukurannya menunjukkan 100 cm, berarti panjang meja yang diukur sama dengan 1 meter. Jadi panjang meja. Jadi panjang meja yang sudah diukur adalah 100 cm sama dengan 1 meter. Terima kasih, Bu Guru.
Yeah, so that is video that I saw you.
Mengukur panjang benda.
Please move. Yeah, so that's a video from one of the students with the condition right now. So they have signed even by their teacher, and then they make a video, and after and try to send it again to their teacher. Sometimes they have to without sending the videos from the application. So from the students in the level of the 5th grade, so they try to come to the schools and then try to meet directly to their teacher at school. So the importance of communication between students, guardians, and teachers. In the face activities are not limited. Education must have a way to establish communication between us guardians of students and teachers. So there must be intense communication between parents and teachers so that development in the learning process can be continuously monitored. Yeah, diligent, active in learning, or something like that. So in the new normal era, parents spend more of their time with and accompany them when studying online. For this reason, education institution must be able to pay more attention to the guardians of the students, provide information about the development of students to parents. When studying online, not only between teacher and students, communication between parents and students is an important thing. Yeah? So their parents will try to monitor their children when they are still having online learning. The next, please. Yeah, so this is the preparation of school to limit it face-to-face, yes. So the things that must be fulfilled by the schools, that is the means of washing hands with soap, hand sanitizer, disinfectant, access to health service facilities like school healthy unit, clinics, hospitals, and others. And then homogenic and then clean toilet. That must be considered by the school side if they try to have face-to-face learning. Okay, the next please. Sebelumnya Ferdi, coba. Yeah, so I would like to give you the definition of school healthy business because school healthy unit, yes, right. Because it's so important for the school side to prepare this. So this is as an effort to foster and develop healthy living habits that are carried out in an integrated manner through programs and healthy services in schools. The next, please. Yeah. So the maximum number of students in the class, there should be not as usual because they maintain a minimum distance of 1.5 meters in middle school students. Yeah, this is the source from Ministry of Education. So the class is a maximum of 18 students only. For maybe for the early childhood education programs and extraordinary schools, that's a maximum of 5 students in one class. The next, please. So the next, please. Yeah. So the prohibited activities for the area in school, that's canteen. Yes, because as you know that there are so many children, students will try to having breakfast in the mornings or something like that. So that area should be prohibited. And then sports or extracurricular activities other than teaching and learning. And then parents watching students school, taking bits aside of class. Okay, the next please. So this is the right strategy and model. That is learning, constructive exploration, and online project. As you know, blended learning is mixed learning pattern between learning in class, face-to-face, and maybe my partner will try to discuss and then try to explain more about this. And then constructive, and then exploration and online project. The next, please. So the alternative media for a new normal learning. It is curriculum-based, professional progress, and supporting media. Next, please. Yeah. So this is the source of curriculum-based learning media. So the curriculum learning media can be in the form of lessons, instructional videos, and interactive modules that aim to enable students to achieve knowledge and skills. So this is the access link, digitallibrary.io, and accessible web containing early childhood education and elementary books to support residual learning and video, making learning videos to make it easier to share material that likes that you have seen before. The next, professional development learning media resources, so helping to improve the ability to teachers and to deal with limited learning methods in this new normal era. And then that's like this one, pdsd.ea, collection of information towards teacher development web. And then teacher CPD, training for teachers about teaching as long as they do not do direct learning. And then free room, platforms and applications that can help parents during learning at home. The next, please. About supporting device development. The next, please. Yes. Supporting devices need to manage the learning process, such as communication devices or the use of application that can be used by parents or students to access learning content provided by the teacher. So it can the parents at home, yeah, to monitor and help their children at home, like WhatsApp, yeah, the application that we always using until now. And then Scratch, that is a system in the form of visual programming language for a learning environment that allows beginners, whether students, teachers, students, or parents, to learn to program without having to really think about writing syntax. Yes, that is the supporting device development. Okay. Okay, thank you. That is the topic that I stand right now as the first speakers. So the next will be try to explain more with another speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you for Mrs. Rini, yeah, for having delivering his topic. Just now, she present about student feel stress in pandemic, but the teacher must have creativity by delivering material or subject by using media and provide and using media can provide enthusiasm for a student in understanding learning. And also just now Ibu Rini also explain about how the student uh, can doing some homework by sending video and should be evaluated by teacher and also should be uh, controlled by his parents. Okay, let's we move to the second presenter. Please welcome Mr. Arnel Turiano. Mr. Arnel Turiano will short about the emerging trends and innovation in teaching Filipino learners in the new normal. Now the time for you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning to Indonesia and at the same time to my participants from the Philippines.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, my task for this morning is to talk about the emerging trends and innovations teaching Filipino learners in the new normal. And upon hearing this topic, I was so excited because this is a perfect avenue for me to share what I know enable for us to help one another provides to provide quality education to our learners, especially even in this time of pandemic. So before we were used to the face-to-face mode of instruction, and we all know that that was the best way so our learner can be able to learn from us more, not only because we teach them the knowledge, but also the value of collaboration, interaction, and communication that builds good relationship and rapport with our teachers, classmates, and friends. However, due to this pandemic, many schools have shifted their modality from face to face into a distance learning. Some went blended learning, modular learning, and some, including us, went into full online. But the question is, can we still be great teachers who can provide the learning that our pupils deserve? Well, that question will be answered today. Now, I would like to make this presentation as interactive as possible. And I can only do that, of course, with your full cooperation and participation. So to begin with my presentation, I would like you to please search Nearpod in your device. Okay, I would like to recommend if you have with you additional device or extra device, a cell phone probably, or an iPad with you, kindly search for Nearpod. That's NEARPOD.com. And of course, I will ask you to join my lesson for this morning using the code ACV4X. This one. A capital letter A, C, V, number 4, and a capital letter X. And in there, kindly put your name to join the activity. All right. And as of now, based from my screen, I have one participant in the name of Siltiel Roncesvalles. And I also want to encourage our friends here in Zoom to please search Nearpod in your browser using the code ACV4X. This one. Here's the website, nearpod.com, and please click join a lesson. And please input the code ACV4X. And in there, you will be asked with your name for the participation. All right, so I am seeing now multiple names from my participants. I have Inyona Arnella, Faith Oida, Jace Bermeo, Ma'am Joy Bolivar, Teacher Kat, Micah, and so on. All right. So for those who are not yet in, there's still time. So from your screen for this morning, you can see that there are words such as brainstorming tools, collaboration tools, communication tools, and the like. Now, what I want you to do is click the word, okay? And choose among the definitions which you think is best suited for the word that you click first. So, for example, you click for communication tool. So, what do you think is the definition for communication tool? All right. So, basically, there are 5 choices, 5 words, and 5 definitions. So, I'm expecting for at least 5 tries. All right. But if you have multiple tries, it's okay, as long as you get the perfect answer for each word and the perfect definition for them. Maybe I will be giving you at least a minute to do that. All right, so based from my screen, there are 33 students who are participating this morning, and they are now answering the activity. All right, thank you so much for your participation. Again, for those who are not yet in, kindly search for nearpod.com. So that is nearpod.com. And then join my lesson using the code capital letter A, C, V, number 4, and X. All right. And in your screen, you can see multiple words, 5 words to be exact. Click the word And please choose among the choices which do you think the best definition for that particular word that you have clicked. All right. So I can see answers from my participants. Thank you so much. Okay. So those words that you see are the following. Okay. We have collaboration tool, communication tool, brainstorming tool, document tool, and file sharing tool. Now, why did I let you do that activity? Because firstly, I would like to assess how far you know those words, which basically has a relationship with my topic for this morning. So first term that you have there is a communication tool. So these tools enables us for real-time text, audio, and video communication in a same time, different place mode. Examples are Messenger, Viber, Telegram, WhatsApp, Google Hangouts, and such. Next word we have there is a collaboration tool, which we use to support groups of two or more to accomplish a common task or goal. So we can use Gmail, G Suite, Hangouts, Google Drive, and such. And lastly is an assessment tool, which we use to evaluate the learning of our pupils. Examples are Google Forms, Class Marker, and Edulastic. But allow me to focus more this morning on the term engagement tools. These are the tools used to attract and sustain attention and interest of students in synchronous sessions. Engagement strategies play a vital role in identifying the tools that you will use. With that, I will share to you this morning 5 strategies for online engagement in an online class. Let me start first with number 1. Play instructional related videos. We know, and you know as well as for sure, that teachers are the best instructional material. However, in this digital world, students are visual learners. Even if they see beautiful faces or handsome faces of the teachers, they still look for more and ask for more so they can learn from your discussion. So basically, in an online class, what we do is to make sure that we can play instructional materials or probably related videos that can support our discussion. For example, for today, I would like to focus on COVID 19. We all know that this is one of the most common terms that we know because this hinders us from learning. However, since we are innovative teachers, it will not stop us from teaching and learning. So, what I have here is a video to discuss about what COVID 19 is. All right. So based from the video, we know for sure that our learners can be able to learn. How? Because based from there, they can now understand that COVID-19 can be transmitted from one person to another if, for example, you have COVID and then unfortunately you were able to have a contact, close contact with someone who do not have. So what are the possible things or probably the minimum requirements that we should do to avoid the transmission of COVID-19? So based from the video, one thing that is possible is to wash your hands regularly. And of course, practice physical distancing. And that is with the use of related video. The second strategy for online teaching is to provide in presentation participation. What do I mean by that? Of course, I know for sure that in traditional face to face learning, it is very hard for us to encourage our students to participate. Sometimes they are shy, sometimes they tend to talk with their seatmates. What more that we are now in an online class? So, what should we do? Why not ask them a question and allow them to collaborate or to participate? So, for those who are with me in Nearpod, I have a question for you. How are you feeling today? Can I know your emotion? Are you happy? Sad? Are you blessed? Are you stressed? Okay? I would like to solicit answers from you. And what I want you to do is to give me your answers through Nearpod. All right? And now I can see multiple answers from our participants. I have answer from Megan. She said that she's blessed. Okay? And as a teacher, I want to let her feel that I care for him. So what should I do? Or what can I do? There are heart buttons in there in your screen. As a teacher and as a classmate, you can actually click them. Okay? And it will give them the feeling that you care for them. All right? So based from those answers, they are blessed, they are motivated and happy, thankful, happy and blessed. Okay, there are those who are all right, blessed and thankful. And at the same time, one answer from Celtiel, feeling good, like I should went and took a walk around the neighborhood. Wow, Thiel. And we have also answer from Kathleen Mora, hopeful. Ma'am Angeline Embestro, blessed. All right. And I am happy that you are so from your screen in your pod. I would like you to share with me how do you rate your happiness today? Five being the highest and one being the lowest. Let me see. All right. Oh, there are answers with letter A. Uh-huh. Ayan, five. Okay. All right. And again, for those who are not yet in your pod, I would like to encourage you so you can have our interactive participation for this morning.
Sir, meron lang daw pong maximum.
Ah, really? So there is a
Na
maximum.
sabi po doon sa chat sa Zoom po.
All right. So at least for those who are in the Nearpod, this is how you see or play the Nearpod. Okay, so I'm using the free version actually. So I'm sorry for those who are not yet in Nearpod. So basically, what you can do for this morning is to at least watch our presentation in Zoom, and look how it works. So what you can see in your screen is a the interface for the teacher. All right. So sorry if others were not able to participate this morning due to the limitations. All right. Okay. So there are answers. Well, most of you, majority, answered 5 and 4. All right. And I'm happy that you are happy amidst the pandemic. Okay. What else can we do? Okay. So I have here an interactive simulations. Who are you, or who among you here teaches addition or teaches mathematics particularly? Okay, so in Nearpod, there is a possible way on how you can teach addition in simplest way possible. So from my screen to my friends in Zoom, there are boxes, okay, for our computation. So for example, I want to teach addition to my learners. Okay, I will put, for example, 5. Okay, and then the second one is 3. Okay, 3. Okay, now how can I teach my learners to add in an online class? I cannot see them. And I cannot go with them in computing if there is a barrier in our screen. So what can I do? Use Nearpod. Basically, through this, for example, I have here number 5. I can, okay, break it down into smaller numbers. Okay, so the first number is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second digit is 3. Okay, let's break it down. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we can teach them one by one. Okay po. Let's put the first digit into another. Okay. It becomes 2. It becomes 3. It becomes 4. And it becomes 5. I will add another digit 3. It becomes 6, 7, and 8. All right. So we can teach the learners that 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. All right. And you can actually edit those numbers so you can give more. Okay po. More numbers to be solved. Okay. 2, for example. 2 plus 1. All right. So based from from the digits, 2 plus 1. So basically, you can break it down into smaller digit. Okay. So we have 2, 1, 2, and another digit is 1. Okay, let's put them together. Now it becomes 2. Let's add 1, and it becomes 3. All right? So we can teach them that 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. All right? So that's another example. What if we teach science? All right, who teaches science? Or who loves science? Okay, so what you can see in my screen is a picture of a skeletal system. Okay, so basically you cannot bring skeleton inside the classroom, right? Or you cannot deliver skeleton to their houses for you to teach skeletal system. So what you need to do basically is you need to prepare somehow quite realistic image of a skeletal system in here, In my presentation, you can actually rotate it. All right. Teach them the parts that this is the skull. All right. There are basically the bones that we have in our body. Okay. So you can rotate it upside down, sideward. All right. So even if it is online, it will become more realistic. And I'm sure that our learners will enjoy while we are discussing. Because at the end of the day, our main goal is to let our learners feel fun. Okay, the fun while they are learning. All right. So that another example is probably this one. Okay, when we teach science. Okay, what else? What if we want to teach them matter? All right, so we have three states of matter. We have the solid, the liquid, and the gas. All right, how do we teach them with the states of matter if we do not have materials? Okay, so you can use once again Nearpod. All right, so as what you can see from my screen, there are molecules inside the container, and that represents solid because they are compact. Okay, there is a heater or cooler at the bottom, and here is some sort of a measurement for pressure. Okay, so we can move them. For example, what happens to the molecule of a particular matter if we hit them? All right, so let's try. Let's hit. All right, and the temperature, as what you can see, is placed above this one. Okay, so basically this is 46 Kelvin. Okay, let's hit them more. Okay, so there you can see that the molecules move faster. Okay, but what if we cool them? Okay, so let's put it down. Okay, and slowly, okay, they go together once again. All right, and as the temperature lowers, there is the movement of the molecules, and they will be freezed. All right. And you can actually move the container downwards. Okay. So to demonstrate them, what would possibly be the result if we push us down and then keep on pushing and pushing it downwards? So basically, the molecules can be broke into pieces. All right. So that is how we can teach them science with the use of Nearpod. All right. And next, okay, is this one. Okay. Have you ever went to a tour without the need for visa or passport? In Nearpod, you can. Okay, how? For example, I want to visit Paris. All right. So based from Nearpod, okay, as what you can see in my screen, you can actually go to Paris for free. Okay, without the need for your visa or passport to travel. Especially now that we are in a pandemic, it we are prohibited to go to different places because we want to prevent from accumulating or being or having this COVID-19. But through this one, it's possible. Okay, you can see 360 degrees. You can rotate. You can see, okay, where you stand. All right. You can see upwards, look upwards. You can see, okay, the people around you, the other tourists. All right. So this is through our virtual reality tour that is within Nearpod. All right. And here, the Eiffel Tower. All right. Finally, you can be able to see it even virtual. All right. And there's another one because I tried searching for the beautiful places of Indonesia, and I found out that Indonesia is such a beautiful place. All right, so I have chosen this one. Just forget the name. All right, so this one is a beautiful place, and this is to be found in Indonesia, actually. All right, and I think if the situation permits, I probably would love to go to Indonesia to visit this place. See? Uh, all right, so I can see the view from above 360 degrees. I can look downwards. All right. I can see upwards. All right. And then rotate it once again. All right. So that is one example through virtual reality. So that is possible through Nearpod. So we can bring our students to a tour. All right. Even if it is pandemic. Okay. So next strategy that I can teach you is to provide your learners with icebreakers or games. Now, for those who are in Nearpod, I would like to encourage you to please join me in this game. All right. So there are multiple questions that needs to be answered. Okay. And the goal is you need to climb the mountain. How can you be able to do that? You just need to answer the questions which I have prepared. And if ever that you get the right answer, so that's the time that you can be able to climb up the mountain. All right. So from my screen, you can see in there the participants. I have Juvelin Valera, Jace Bermeo, Rajani, Art Botor, Inyona Arniela, Riza, Patrick, and more players to come. All right. So you can actually choose the character which you want. Okay. Which you think that you will feel more beautiful in your own little ways. All right. And as of now, I have 18 players all in all. So basically, if you want your learners to enjoy while you are teaching, you can use this one, time to climb activity. So they are enjoying, you are testing their ability if they have learned something from your discussion. At the same time, they can see or evaluate themselves through a game. All right. So let me start the game now. And for other players, I will encourage you to please join us this morning. All right. So for those who are in Zoom, what you see is the screen. All right, for the teacher. Let's watch them play. And as a teacher, you can actually monitor who among your learners rank first, second, third, so on and so forth. So let's see. So on the left side are the players. And on the right side are the movements of our players. Okay. And questions will be shown to their screen in Nearpod. The first question is, what color is this? So we are referring to this one. And your learners can be able to answer on their own gadget, even if they are in their own homes. Okay. Let's see who ranks first after all of the participants have answered the question. All right, let's wait. Okay, so from time to time, you can actually browse who among your learners are now playing or inside this Nearpod. All right, oh, they are now moving. And as of now, rank 1 is Megan, followed by Art and Jay. Second question. What logo is this? So basically in their screen, they can see what logo is being presented. All right. Next question, 1 plus 5. As of now, Megan ranks first. this is one way on how we can teach them to enjoy while learning. That's the third strategy. Give them icebreakers through games inside Nearpod. Wow, I think it's consistent that until this moment of time, Megan ranks first. Okay, question number 5. The Indonesia and Philippines can be found in what part of Asia? Let's see who will get the right answer. Alright, so after answering 5 different questions in the activity, the result is now in. Among our students, rank first is Megan. Okay. Rank second, Sofiel, followed by Enyon, Arniela, Art, and Hansel. Alright, so from there, I know for sure that your learners enjoyed the activity while learning. Now, strategy number 4, you can actually give them breakout activity or collaboration sessions. How is it possible? For example, I want to teach them English, okay, particularly on the topic cause and effect. So I can ask my learners to draw in their own screen their answers. So you can write, for example, it's raining, then the possible effect if it continuously rains for at least how many days. So the possible effect could be having a flood. Okay, so based from their answers, you can see from there if they understand cause and effect topic. All right. And from my screen as a teacher, you can see who among your students are now working on their activity, such as Siltiel, who is now in progress, Nina Clarice, and other students are still waiting for them to start. All right. I have here Maika Kanyeba, who is now answering. So I can now see in real time what movements she does, all right, with her activity. Okay, and I can monitor as a teacher. So this is very useful. Okay, so while discussing, we can see if students are really learning or listening from us, even if it's online. Okay, it's not only through drawings, they can actually submit pictures or texts to the activity. Okay, wow, there are answers from, who's this one? Who drew the heart? Wow, Micah. She draws a beautiful heart, then it resulted to a broken heart. What happens? Are you broken hearted, Micah? All right, so as what you can see, there are multiple answers from your students. This is very interactive. So they can learn individually or collaboratively. Okay, so very good. Megan already submitted this one. You can see if who among them already finished the activity. All right. There are still students who are in progress. Okay. So after they finish the activity, you can actually show it to your class. What you can do, share. All right. So in their screen, in their pod, they can be able to see this particular activity, which is submitted by their or one of their classmates. Okay, the cause is probably, I think I can interpret this as the COVID. Then if you have um, acquired this one, COVID virus, there's a possibility that you can be okay. So that answer came from Teya. All right. So other students are still answering. So that's another one. Okay, strategy number 4. And lastly, as one of my strategy is to gamify your class. What do we mean by gamifying? It means that you need to make your teaching fun and exciting. So how is it possible? Okay, one activity that I have here is a memory test. Okay, based from the box, our main goal is to click the image, different image, for example, and look for its partner. Okay, probably the same picture as what we see in the first one. Okay, for example, I'm looking for Indonesian flag. Where part of this boxes I first saw that Indonesian flag? I think on this part. Oh, I got it right. All right, and then the flag of the Philippines, I think on this part. Okay, and then the yellow car, I just forgot. Where did all right, the yellow car. It is over there. And then the airplane. All right. And the bridge. Okay. And then this one, the books. Okay. So based from the result, I have completed the activity and I had accumulated 12 total moves. Okay. To finally find the pair of those pictures. So that's one strategy, memory test. Okay. And lastly is allow them to play. How? Through this activity, which has different levels. For example, let's start first in level 1. I want to teach fraction, meaning I want to teach how things are divided equally into different parts. Okay, we'll put 1/3. And among all the pictures over there, you will look which one represents 1/3. Okay, so probably I think it is 1. All right, and I will ask them to check it by their own. All right, and I find it right. Okay, I will get plus 2 points. Next, let's put it this one. Okay, 1/4. Okay, which among the picture do you think represents 1/4? Okay, I think this one. Let me see if I'm correct. All right, so I can move higher. Oh, and then this one. Okay, what about 1/2? Okay, which among the following represents 1/2? This one. Let me check. Very good. And when you're done, so basically there are no more fractions that has the same level. Okay, let's see. This one, I'm correct. Okay, last one. This one, check. Correct. And the last one, okay, this one. And I got it right. There, I can applause from Nearpod. So it's fun. Okay, so you can now move to different levels. Okay, teaching fraction, it's more fun in Nearpod. All right, so let's go now to the same question which I have given you earlier at the start of my talk. Now let me ask you once again the same question at the start. Okay, from your screen, can you still be a great teacher who can provide the learning that our students deserve? A for yes and B no. Okay? So I want to solicit answers coming from you. And I do hope through Nearpod, I hope you learn something from me because I am rooting for you. Today we proved that we can learn together even if we are apart because education is the movement from darkness to light. Quoted from Alan Bloom. The pandemic may serve as the dark side of life, but at the end of the day, it is us, innovative teachers, that will serve as the lights. And that ends my presentation for this morning. And I do hope you had fun being with me. Thank you so much.
Uh, Mr. will be presented by Arnel Turiano. Thank you. And what have you presented just now is very excited for me. You have over a new innovation in learning by presenting media, call it by AGV4X. Yeah. And I think this media very good for our student right now, and use and should be used in virtual learning process. Thank you. And we move to third presenter. Welcome to Mrs. Nurdahnir SPDM Home for presenting her topic by the topic blended learning as the new normal for primary school learning. The time is only 15 to 20 minutes because we still have many speaker after this seminar, and we can continue to discuss from the participant. Maybe the participant will give many question. So I think for every single presenter only to be present, I give the time 15 till 20 minutes. Please welcome to Mrs. Nur Dahniar.
Well, thank you very much for the moderator, Mr. Safar Yahya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
It's still morning, right? So magandang umaga. And okay, hopefully it's a good pronunciation. And thank you very much for Muhammadiyah Buton University and Busan. It's a great webinar. So my topic this opportunity is blended learning as the new normal in primary school learning. The last speaker has explained one of the kind online learning. It's I'm focused to watch the Mr. Arnell's presentation. It's interesting. Thank you. And then I focus on blended learning. Okay, this opportunity I'll divide in some points. The first is definition and the reason why blended learning syntax for use blended learning models focused in primary school. I choose for blended kinds of blended learnings and implementing blended learning in primary school. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we know, the basic definition of blended learning is a learning approach that integrated traditional face-to-face learning and distant learning using online learning uses resources and a variety of communication options that teachers and students can use. It's based on Harding and Kaczynski and Wood 2005. As you can see in the slide, there's the breakdown between brick and mortar classroom. It consists of conversation, negotiated interaction, production, collaboration, and application. And then another side is online learning. Consists of self-paced language skills, authentic content, practice and feedback, progress monitoring. So what is blended learning? Blended learning is the mix of the both kinds of this learning method, classroom and online learning. In simple terms, blended learning is the use of online and digital technique to aid and enhance traditional teaching method. It doesn't not aim to replace teachers. not to replace teachers or brick and mortar school. Instead, its objective is to complement them. In this case of a blended learning, around 30% to 79 of the content is delivering through digital means. Meanwhile, the rest is provided through offline means such as print textbook and classroom teaching. Okay, why blended learning? There's some kinds of the reason why blended learning can be used in primary school. The first is the use of time in class is more effective. Online teaching materials, facilitating student-centered learning, directing students to be creative, required students to learn independently or be more prepared. Teachers 21st century skills, make parents participate. Of course, yeah, make parents participate. And sometimes we heard that parents more confused how to teach their children. So blended learning is more beneficial for students than traditional approaches to education. Some research showed that students in the world who were provided blended learning opportunities perform better than those who use the traditional face-to-face method, it means. Besides, the current generation of students feels more comfortable with blended learning. A recent study revealed that students feel they learn more effectively use this method compared to purely face-to-face and even online learning. There are some features of blended learning that make it so effective. The first is personalized learning. It means with blended learning, education can be modified to suit the specific needs to every student. Teachers are provided the tools to understand the learning behaviors, interests, strengths, and weakness, and more of each student. This helps create personalized and learning paths, while teachers can provide personal supports as and when needed. The second one is higher engagement. Blended learnings allow the inclusion of interactive and gaming elements in learning. It's not secret that almost of students today would rather learn through videos and games rather than merely textbooks. Even if they are ebooks, moreover, micro-learning becomes a reality since the process of providing information in small, digestible nudges is easy. This means higher engagement and retention levels. The next is instant feedback. Students can get instant and detailed feedback with blended learning. This helps not only students, but also teachers. Students can analyze where they need to put in more efforts, while teachers can fine-tune their teaching techniques and style. With education technology solution, assessment can be customized and administered easily, providing valuable data for much more than simply grading students. And the fourth, flexible learning. With a blended approach, students can access a wide range of resources, including online videos or ebooks at any times, at any place, as long as they have a device and internet. Both internal and external resources links, the library can be integrated when learning is delivered through digital means. This also allows students to take advantage of what Google calls micro moments. Students can learn while waiting for the bus, while commuting, while before going to sleep. Okay, there are three kinds of blended learnings. The first is seeking of information. Students independently look for reference online from various resources related to predetermined topic and not the summarized reference resources. And the second is acquisition of information. Students individually or in group respond to the topic uploaded by the teacher so that they are able to communicate and reinterpret them. And the last is synthesizing of knowledge. Students send discussion results and conclusion from the information obtained in the form of discussion report, presentation materials, and assignment that can be sent back to the teacher's email or small class group, yeah, that provided by the teacher. So we have some, as we know, blended learning have various models, but this opportunity I'll explain for based on the level, rotation models, flex models, self-blend, and enrich virtual. Okay. Rotation models, students rotate between learning situation both in and outside the classroom. The classroom is divided into situations. The students spend their day rotating between them. The teacher set the rotation schedule. Then they sit at one situation where they give direct instruction. Each station has a different approach to the same learning objective, and the students work individually in groups or with the teachers, depending on the station. One of the station is online, for example, where students complete surveys, write, listen to the story, or answer question. The next is flex model. I'm trying to make this simply because the moderator has told us we have a limited time. Okay, flex model, content and instruction delivered primarily by the internet with the teacher providing assistance as needed. Students work at computers at school, either for the entire class or in breakout rooms, while receiving individualized attention from the teacher. The teacher provides group instruction and individual supports as needed. Student works on the materials at their own pace online with face-to-face teacher supports. Online delivery of curriculum in the physical classroom. The next is self-blends. What is self-blends model in blended learning? Students take online classes to supplement traditional courses. Online course work done at home or at school. Physical classroom teacher doubles as online teacher. Students work at their own pace while having the option of face-to-face instruction. And some teacher for both online and physical courses allow students to get help on online course at school. And the last in this presentation, enrich virtual model. This model primarily distance learning combined with seldom school visit. Students complete courses online with seldom visits to brick and mortar school. And teacher provides remote assistance to students through email exchanges and online discussion boards. Students work at their own pace and learn to take responsibility for their own learning, and the online and physical elements merge on the rare occasion students attend school for instruction. Well, implementing blended learning in primary school. I have 3 points. The first is get the right technology tools. The first step in effective implementation of a blended learning program is to choose the right learning management system, or LMS. The digital learning platform should help the educational institution achieve all the core objective of blended learning. The LMS, learning management system, should allow you or teacher and students to include interactive and gaming elements in the learning. This is essential for making learning more motivating and engaging. The inclusion of gaming elements make for a more motivating learning experience for 67% of the students. And the next is include effective assessment. For the successful implementation of a blended learning, getting assessment on point is a must. In some cases, the assessments could be online while being offline in others. The form and process of offline assessment have been well understood and defined. As for online assessments, they need to be quick and personalized. To make assessments and quizzes more motivating, leaderboards and gaming elements can be integrated. And the last is make it last longer than school hours. Blended learning is not bound by physical walls or time constraints. Learning needs to be available at the time and place that the student desires. Students should be able to access information on any device of their choice and benefit from self-directing learner. The smart provider is provided by teacher. Well, blended learning for primary schools is very important. The first, we have some reason referring to the definition blended learning before. It possible that do blended learning is at the basic education or primary school level. There are several reasons for this possibility. The first, if you look at the characteristic of students in 2020 are sitting in elementary or primary school, they are alpha generation. And then the second, learning in elementary or primary school with holistic assessment, which requires teacher not only to measure learning outcomes in the real of knowledge, but also to improve the skills and attitudes of students. And the third, the use of technology in learning in elementary or primary schools is very possible because blended learning is online material meetings can be read through devices that are owned by almost all students. Well, the closing statement that you can see at the slide. Blended learning is the future of education. Technology is helping in its own way and enabling the student access learning beyond the barriers of location and time. Thank you very much. More information we will discuss in the discussion session. Thank you very much. Salamat ya, salamat ya. Terima kasih. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Daniel, for her explanation about blended learning. And the close statement that I found just now is this blended learning should be future education, especially for our student in elementary school, because using technology is one of important thing for our era today, but also not losing the control from the student, from the teacher. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the next presenter. Please welcome to Mr. Lamut. He will discuss the challenges in teaching and learning in the new normal, experiences by teacher and student in the Philippines. The time for you, you will spend the time for presenting your topic, maybe 15 till 20 minutes. Okay.
Thank you very much. Good morning and happy Thursday, everyone. First and foremost, allow me to express my warmest greetings to the participants from the Universitas Muhammadiyah Buton, Selamat Pagi, and of course, participants from the Philippines, mostly coming from the University of St. Anthony. This morning, I feel honored and excited to share with all of you some perspectives from my country, the Philippines, regarding the challenges in teaching and learning in the new normal as experienced and as perceived by teachers and students in our country. Before we go to the perspectives, allow me to bring you back to the time when the Philippines had to make one of the biggest decisions in history. The date was March 16, 2020. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte of the Republic of the Philippines placed the entire mainland Luzon, that's a big part of the Philippines, under the enhanced community quarantine. This eventually led to the closure of schools and consequently the suspension of in-person classes in all levels. Here's a picture of a teacher telling a story in front of her pupils. This photo was taken in March 2020. Now here's another picture of a typical classroom in the Philippines. There's a chalkboard, the teacher's table, and the students' chairs. Unlike the first picture, however, there's no teacher and there are no students. This was taken in March 2021. Do you see the difference? Big difference, right? Now get this. Here's another picture of a Filipino teacher discussing a concept to Filipino learners. And here's another picture of another Filipino teacher still discussing a certain concept, but this time making use of laptop and without the physical presence of her pupils. We can also see a very big difference. The picture at the left was taken before the pandemic, and the picture at the right side was taken during the pandemic. But wait, there's more. Here's a picture of a group of Filipino pupils who are joyfully and cheerfully singing a song. And here's a picture of a diligent elementary pupil who tries to understand a certain lesson with a cell phone and modules placed on the table. Big difference, right? The picture at the left was taken before the pandemic, and the picture at the right side was taken during the pandemic. The pictures that I just showed you this morning generally emphasize the big difference that we had in the past and the present new normal of education. Here in the Philippines, despite the pandemic and just like the other countries as well in the world, we opened school year 2020 to 2021 with a new teaching and learning modality. From the traditional in-person classes, we shifted to online and modular distance learning. And as expected, numerous challenges, problems, and difficulties surfaced as a result of the sudden change in teaching and learning modality. Needless to say, the shift from the physical classroom to virtual space is creating a disruption among our teachers and students. In order to have a full understanding of the challenges that the teachers and students are experiencing in the Philippines, I decided to ask and elicit perspectives from different groups of people. I asked the perspectives from a teacher, a student, an administrator, and a parent. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present to all of you the challenges in teaching and learning in the new normal from the point of view, first and foremost, of public and private elementary teachers in the Philippines. Everyone, I'd like you all to meet teacher Regine May Layosa Kite. She's a grade school teacher here in the University of St. Anthony, Philippines. I asked teacher Regine, being a grade school teacher, what do you think is the biggest challenge in teaching Filipino learners in the new normal? This is teacher Regine's response. And I quote, I think we lost a certain kind of connection with our learners when we shifted from in-person classes to online distance learning. The unseen barrier that radiates off the screen of each gadget seems to become more and more evident as time goes by. Something is definitely drifting away. It's really a big challenge for us grade school teachers to motivate, encourage, manage, and catch our pupils' attention easily. It's very ironic how we wanted to keep them quiet before whenever we are having a lecture, but now all we want for them to do is speak up and share. I was curious, so I asked teacher Regine, how is she coping and how she addresses this challenge? May I share to you her response? According to teacher Regine, she makes sure that she has a constant communication, not only with her pupils, but with their parents as well. She reminds the students not to be afraid to tell them anything. She makes them feel that they are heard, remembering special moments in their life, complimenting their good deeds, and congratulating them in their little achievements are are some of the things that she does to help them cope with the situation, believing and hoping that with these simple gestures and generous words, they would eventually become motivated and comfortable opening up. I also would like to, I remember these two words from Teacher Regine's response, connectivity and connection. Our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ballesteros, one time mentioned about these two very important concepts in online distance learning. While we cannot control sometimes connectivity, it's beyond our control. According to our VPAA, some connection is something that all of us can work on. While our students experience difficulty connecting because of poor internet signal and power interruption, a teacher can always establish a meaningful connection with her learners. I also would like to share with you, I conducted a quick survey to a group of elementary teachers about the top challenges that they experienced in the new normal education setup. And I'm showing you the results. The top 5 challenges, which are difficulty in workload management, 32%, intermittent and unstable internet connection, 24%, difficulty in virtual classroom management, 21%, difficulty in managing instruction, 13%, and limited resources, 10%. On the part of the learners, I also asked them the challenges, and these are the responses. We have number 1, intermittent and unstable internet connection, 43%, overloading of tasks, 26%, limited resources, 14%, distractions, 11%, and difficulty in understanding lessons, 6%. I'd like to make a connection between the challenge experienced by teachers and students. I think because of what Teacher Regine was saying about the loss of a connection that we have for our students, these challenges happen, like the difficulty in virtual classroom management, and on the part of the learners, the distractions. So it is really very important that teachers, while doing online classes, should impose netiquette and online learning protocols, which should be acknowledged by the students. I think this way, we will be assured that the connection between the teacher and the students will not be lost. Also, I would like to introduce to all of you a public school teacher in the person of Teacher Joseph E. Briones. He's a grade school teacher of Agdangan Elementary School, Baao, Camarines Sur, here in the Philippines. I asked the same question and this was his response. From all over the country, the pandemic highlighted the insubstantiality of education in teaching Filipino learners, which I think is the biggest challenge that we need to overcome. As a public school teacher, Teacher Joseph noticed that most of his pupils do not have access to online platforms and are also experiencing difficulty on modular distance learning. But how is he coping? How he addresses this challenge? According to Teacher Joseph, he copes with the situation by continuously improving his skills on technology, which is what the current situation demands. According to Teacher Joseph, and I think everybody will agree, now more than ever, we teachers need to be creative in designing materials, such as the preparation of modules and recorded lessons. Let us use the time to reinvent and discover new ways of teaching. Take it from Sir Joseph, who is a public school teacher experiencing these challenges in teaching and learning. I would also like to introduce to all of you Teacher Angeline L. Albano. She's a kinder teacher from San Nicolas Elementary School, Iriga City, still that is in the Philippines. I asked the same question. She's teaching preschool. So I'd like to know what are the challenges being experienced by a preschool teacher, which might be different from those being experienced in the primary and intermediate level. The biggest challenge these days, according to Teacher Angie, is teaching the learners the fundamental skills of reading, writing, and counting. Preschool, according to Teacher Angie, is the first stage of formal schooling. It's a critical period for learning. So we need to do extra works for this skill to be mastered by the pupils, even at the comforts of their home. But she shared to us things that we can probably do if we handle learners in the new normal, What she's doing is she conducts field works and home visitation without, of course, violating the health protocols. She distributes extra worksheets that are suited to the intellectual abilities of different types of learners, like the giving of remedial activities for struggling learners, enhancement activities for average learners, and advanced activities for fast learners, which only goes to show that even in the time of a pandemic, with the new normal that we have, still we can adopt differentiated instruction and assessment styles for our learners. I'd also look into the result of the survey. Although as suggested by the teachers, the public school teachers, there are plenty of things, tasks, and activities to do. I think that's basically the reason why when I conducted the survey for teachers, the top challenge is the difficulty in workload management because, of course, we can all see that, we can all observe that from our teachers. The workload this time is different from what we had in the past. And on the part of the students, some of them were also complaining about the overloading of tasks. So maybe I can suggest what can we do to solve this challenge, to address this challenge. Teachers should lessen the tasks and the activities being given to the students. And I also asked perspectives from our administrators, particularly from two school heads, one from the private school and the other from the public school. This one is Ma'am Gertrudes Manaog Hoven, School Principal 2 of Bato North Central School, Bato, Camarines Sur, here in the Philippines. As a school head, I asked Ma'am Hoven the biggest challenge that she thinks is being experienced by teachers in the new normal. This was her response. In my experience as a school head, I think the biggest challenge in the new normal is how to capacitate teachers in the implementation of the BELCP. In the Philippines, we call it the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, and have full provisioning in terms of needed learning resources and relevant instructional materials. Now, in their school, according to Ma'am Hoven, this is how they address the challenge. We address by conducting online teachers orientation training and creating active partnership with school stakeholders to generate more resources. I guess this will also explain the result of the survey that I conducted. For the teachers, the top fifth challenge that they experience in the new normal is limited resources. And on the part of the students, it's the third in rank. So what can we do to solve this one? Teachers and students should maximize the available resources online. I'm sure when we shifted to online distance learning, we were able to discover plenty of platforms in the internet. And since we are, of course, we have restrictions, we have limitations, but we can always maximize the available resources, applications that we have online. Here is also our very own principal from the Montessori Grade School Department of the University of St. Anthony. We have Ma'am Janice Evan Zagales. I also asked her perspective, the same question given to Ma'am Hoven, and this is her response. Let me quote, "In my observation, some teachers have difficulty sustaining learners' attention during online classes. Most of the pupils don't know how to manipulate the laptop. Teaching of different online platforms requires patience and time for the pupils to master them." And how are they coping with this challenge? Ma'am Janice shared that prior to the start of the school year, the teachers of the Montessori Grade School Department of the University of St. Anthony attended seminars and trainings to enhance their skills and be exposed to the different online platforms. In fact, even until today, and maybe in the months to come, the university will not get tired of sponsoring and conducting seminars and trainings to really capacitate our teachers for the new normal. Now, since we already heard the perspectives from the teachers and then the administrators, I also found it necessary to ask perspectives from a parent. So everyone, I'd like you to meet Ma'am Sheila Thea A. Del Monte. She's a parent of a grade 6 pupil and a resident of San Nicolas, Iriga City, here in the Philippines. I asked Ma'am Sheila, as a parent, what do you think is the biggest challenge in learning in the new normal? When we shifted to online distance learning, it increased the participation, the involvement, and as well as the role of the parents. So I was curious, so I asked Ma'am Sheila. This was her response. Education in the new normal is a test of patience, creativity, and resourcefulness. Technical problems such as unstable internet connection and frequent power interruption are some of the challenges that our children have to deal with while attending online classes. And this is being addressed as a parent by Ma'am Sheila. The new normal, according to her, should not be a hindrance for learning. What she does is she works closely with the teacher to unlock and develop the skills of her child, teaches her patience, perseverance, generosity, and other values that will prepare her to face the world after the pandemic. The last few statements of Ma'am Sheila were very empowering. We've been given a time to pause, rethink, and replan. But no matter the situation, I still believe that education is the key for the bright future of our children. As educators, hearing that from a parent makes us feel that we are doing the right thing, that our parents still supports, even in the new normal of education, our parents here in the Philippines give their support to the teachers. So it's a partnership between the parents and then the teachers in order to have results later on. And it was mentioned by Ma'am Sheila that one of the problems being encountered or being experienced by her daughter is intermittent and unstable internet connection. And this is actually supported by the survey that I conducted. On the part of the teachers, they experience intermittent and unstable internet connection. I think it's not only a problem in the Philippines, but in almost all parts of the world. And on the part of the student, that is their top problem. So we see efforts from our government to upgrade and to improve the internet connectivity situations in our country. And I believe that is also the same case in Indonesia. Likewise, I would like to share with you a perspective from a pre-service teacher. She's not a teacher yet, just like most of the participants here. She's also aspiring to become an elementary teacher someday. So I also asked her, having seen and having witnessed all of these challenges from the real teachers right now, I'd like everybody to meet. This is one of our beautiful students in the College of Teacher Education, Jenizel M. Hoven. She's a third-year BE Ed student here in Busan. I asked Angel, this is not school head, sorry for the error. As a pre-service teacher, I asked Angel to give the biggest challenge in teaching and learning in the new normal. Angel's answer was this one. As a pre-service teacher, and based on my personal observation, I think the biggest challenge in teaching Filipino learners these days is how to gauge fairly if learners have learned or mastered the literacy and numeracy skills. And I asked Angel, how can we address this challenge? According to Angel, to cope with this challenge, we need to use varied, authentic, and appropriate assessment tools and strategies to measure if the pupils are really learning. And we can do it by working closely with the parents. I think one message that I would like to emphasize in my talk here, and I think you've seen that in the responses given by the people that I presented a while ago, the partnership, the collaboration between the school and then the parents, the family, is really very important these days. In closing, I would like to bring back again the pictures of the 7 people that I asked. If there is one thing that we observe which is common to them, it is probably the fact that they are all smiling. Here in the Philippines, a smile is a language that tells us to to keep going. It is the fuel that enables us to keep going, move forward, be optimistic. While we take our jobs seriously as a teacher, we Filipinos do not forget to smile because, as I've said, this smile is the one that enables us to keep going and move forward. We belong, TV teachers, the participants of this webinar, we belong to a community of professionals who are creative, innovative, and resilient. So despite all of the challenges that I presented to you this morning, I hope we will not be discouraged to pursue the profession that we chose. To the participants from Indonesia, terima kasih, and to the participants from the Philippines, maraming salamat. Thank you, everyone.
For Mr. Lamut, who has presented about the challenges in learning in Philippines, and we saw together that the picture show about the condition of learning before pandemic and during the pandemic, and some of expert has giving argument or answer about what is should be the challenges in learning. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now we have to move to the last speaker. Last speaker should be presented by Ibu Andi Leli, SPD MPD. The topic is about transformation of learning designs among primary school in the new normal, orientation, strategy, and design. Please welcome to Ibu Andi for presenting your topic. The time for yours, 15 till 20 minutes.
Ya, tes. Ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Firstly, thank you moderators for the Minister Safarudin Yahya for the cans. The Honorable Rector of the Muhammadiyah University of Buton, Mrs. Dr. Waudi Al-Sarliani, SPMM, especially Honorable President and Chairman of the Board, Mr. Eti Santiago de Ortega, as well as the speakers webinar and Frotov, and the presenting is very good. Ladies and gentlemen, participant webinar are happy. All right, on this occasion, I will present about the transformation of learning design among primary school in the new normal of educational perspective in Indonesia. Yeah, well, to maximum give time by the moderators. Next slide. Ladies and gentlemen, our participants of webinar, as we know, education in the new normal closely related to the impact of the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced a component of education in Indonesia to implement distance learning. Let us look at the current reality. Learning that occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic was distance learning. This distance learning is carried out either through online learning or offline learning. In fact, most use a combination of online and offline. New normal will soon be implemented in Indonesia, including the education sector. The World Health Organization, WHO, has issued a statement that this pandemic will not end quickly. when the President of the Republic of Indonesia initiates a new normal as a new stage for the start of life, where people can live side by side with the COVID-19, of course, with various health protocols that must be followed. Then the ideal is how formal education institutions such as school can continue to carry out their function with existing limitation, so that even if circumstances require its students to continue learning from home, the member must be remain in school. Next, to be the question, how is the learning process carried out in this new normal? In the new normal, the world of education is forced by circumstance to adapt quickly. The Minister of Education and Culture has issued a statement that its school has begun to prepare itself for the implementation of education in the new normal. The learning transition period is still using the online method. The application of the physical distancing as the main factor of the new normal is a challenge in the world of education, which usually brings together educators with students in the face-to-face teaching and learning process. Therefore, schools are obligated to find solutions related to how the teaching and learning process in the new normal can continue without neglecting the role of the teacher as teacher. In addition, the Ministry of Education and Culture also has an important role, which need to learn a lot from other countries. Good things can be adopted in Indonesian or create an innovation that can be adapted to local conditions given Indonesians' demographics and geography. Obviously, to online learning process such as technology facilities, networks, educators' readiness, and good learning content must be immediately searched for the solution. Next slide. The question in our minds are mainly educators. What kind of learning is appropriate for the new normal? Learning in the new normal is to be oriented to student needs. The first, supporting facilities and infrastructure at home. Learning support capacity at home learning adaptation is based on existing support capacity at home, school, and the condition of student as a number of things related to this can be done by educators staff through communication with the parents, guardians of students. Identify the whereabouts of learning components and when parents vary because various activities can be explored, making learning schedule for more flexible. The availability of communication tool can support for codes as well as internet affordability determines the implementation of online, offline learning and a mix of the two, online and offline. Learning starts can be conveyed through online media and printouts taken by parents at school, learning material that follow the modification of learning targets so that the teaching of the new material needs to consider the condition and abilities for students with the special needs. Next, the second, the current condition and abilities of the student. Learning in emergency situation today certainly needs to pay attention to aspect of the quality of learning for student. Student condition and abilities in general, student can be served academic needs based on their abilities in the learning process. The variety of the learning flexibility that is often found today is very diverse, but the main focus is according to the abilities and condition of students. Some of the practices currently found in learning in the pandemic era include learning targets that are specific for daily function activities at home, teaching academic skill that have been mastered by students so that they are more focused on maintaining these abilities so that they do not decline and or even disable. Next, the third, learning program design. For the continuity of learning after the pandemic, the ability of educators to design flexible learning to students is a challenge. Online learning is no longer impossible to make strategy choice for providing educational service to students in the future. Several times that challenge educators in online learning include the learning assessment process and providing adequate support in the learning process. These three things are used to explore alternative forms of the learning that can be provided to students. Ladies and gentlemen, the next slide. As we know, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a chance so that transformation of education is in the new normal demands a change in the roles of education actors, teachers, parents, and students. We can see from several aspects of education, there was a change before the pandemic to the new normal. Behind the difficult of sector of life during the pandemic COVID-19, there are positive things that can be drawn cannot be ignored for the world of education. This pandemic period is a good momentum for change. Schools are forced by the environment to provide educational service not face to face but through online media. This provides new lesson and experience for educators, students, and parents, where all are required to get used to it. So make use of technology to find information and communicate. With the use of technology in the learning, it is hoped that learning will be more direct and effort to improve continuously, effectively, efficiently, correctly, and objectively. The use of this technology will provide flexibility for school to carry out various kind of modeling in implementing learning activities. Distance learning using online media will become permanent. This does not mean that the situation will return to normal because in reality the new normal education has shifted the normal era education so that in the future all school activities will be completely transferred to online learning and classroom function. It is certain that the aspect of education will experience major change. One of them is where educators must be able to prove that they are able to quickly adapt to an environment that requires them to teach and interact with students through online media. Over time, it will disappear and class will be replaced with virtual media. Currently, extra efforts are needed to collaborate between conventional and digital education system because online learning is currently only possible for cognitive transfer of science and technology. However, competencies related to psychomotor and affective still needs a face-to-face educational process. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next slide. As we know, even though it has not yet reached the national level, there are still many obstacles faced by schools, including those who do not have access to infrastructure and the limited ability to provide internet facilities. However, at least the experience of learning from home using online media today can be used as proof that Indonesian teacher can also learn change quickly. we can see what is look like teacher as the key for transformation of learning in the new normal. The first, all countries in the world are entering the new normal era process simultaneously. The second, the appropriateness of each country's strategy in optimizing the role of technology determines the speed of the education service recovery process. The third, quality technology-based education service are determined by the readiness of teacher to utilize technology to develop children potential optimally according to the era. Next, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, in education, especially in learning, teacher has a very important role. Therefore, proposition of learning in the new normal. The first, demand for increasing ICT competencies for teacher and educational personnel. The second, demand for content, application, and infrastructure. The third, innovative the new learning models with the latest technology. Fourth, life skill-based learning and appropriate technology. The fifth, releasing student and independent and social, global individuals. Yeah. Next, we can see how to design a lesson in the new normal. There are several things that need to be done by the teacher in teaching student. Yeah. The first, use an online learning platform online that is appropriate or suitable for students. Or learning can also be offline outside the network by first uploading learning material on the internet or on the teacher's social media, can be in the form of reading reference or learning videos. Next, the second, redefine learning outcomes. The learning implementation plan, RPPA, learning implementation plan does not need to be changed totally, but is sufficient to redetermine which learning outcomes can be delivered by a learning and which are not. Then determine appropriate assessment methods and platform for each learning outcomes. Provide a segment for evaluation that not bad student but are still in accordance with learn objectives. Because online learning is oriented towards student and students are required to be more creative, make assignments that are open-minded or tasks that priorities encourage students to experience more, or observe, interact, communicate, and provide feedback in construction knowledge so that students can learn meaningful. In general, for the primary school, this is an example of a platform or application media used by students in primary school in Indonesia. This is a platform Sevi Matlin, Model School, Ruang Guru, Google Classroom, Edmode, Kuiper. And next, offline learning at home in the new normal student can be carried out using the media, television, for example, the home learning program track TVRE, learning media from object and starting environment, annotation, radio, self-study modules and workshops, props to learning. So here are some things I have to say about the change that have occurred in education, especially in learning in the new normal that needs to be done by teachers with various innovation, strategy, and designing learning that is oriented towards the needs of students, especially in primary school, according to the characteristic of each students. Finally, any more else than I have said our apologies. Ladies and gentlemen, participants from the Indonesian and Philippines are happy. Thank you for attention. Stay healthy and happy. Billahi fi sabilil haq, fastabikul khairat. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Salamat. Oke, moderator. Moderator.
Bukan karena pengantar azan, mungkin di azan di sana makanya mereka ada diam.
Tidak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Anak-anak ini mereka ini bagaimana ini?
Mahasiswa PGSD ini.
Di rumahnya mereka yang satu.
Iya.
Tinggal dialek-dialek tuh.
Kayak mama ini.
Belum bicara juga mereka.
Ini masih Dida. Bekasi yang didampingi. Dari luar negeri. Yang ini.
Ada di sini.
Mereka live juga di negaranya. Negara internasional.
Mama, jawab.
Hello everyone. We have a trouble in lighting because right now there is a technical error in our room. So we move to the question session. I believe each one of you have many questions for all of our speakers or presenter. So for the first time, I give three students for giving their question. Please mention your name and also your institution and oh, okay. Okay. Hello everyone. Okay. Now we step to the question session for all participants. So you can mention your name and also your institution, and you will give a question and with whom do you want to ask, please?
Turn off your video.
Video. Okay, sudah.
Maybe there is some participants want to type on chat box.
Yes. Once of participant can types your question also in your task box. Okay, here.
Ada yang bertanya kan?
Atau mungkin ada sedikit tambahan. Or maybe there are additional statement or additional how I say additional explanation from
But actually,
you are.
But actually, we just try to still waiting. Then questions from participants maybe.
Because when I see here in the chat, all participants only say congratulations and thank you, and congratulations and thank you for everyone, Ma'am Andi Lely. So maybe Mrs. Lamut, Mr. Lamut, or Mr. Turino. Turiano. Maybe there is something additional argument or statement for what have you explained today, please.
But maybe if there is not participant who want to give the question, so maybe we try to close this because there is no one.
There's no one, yeah. I have saw here in the chatting room, but there's no question.
There is no question.
Only say greeting, congratulations.
It is so clear.
Yeah.
It is so clear from the presentation of all the speakers. So,
or maybe I want to hear also about what is your impression for attending this seminar, Ibu Dahniar. What is your impression? And also, actually, I feel delighted when the second presenter over the media. I think this is new media for us, yeah, for our students, especially in elementary school. Yeah, maybe anything you want to deliver for additional statement.
Yes,
Also, Ibu Dania, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. As Mr. Safar said that I'm interested in
Arnel Turiano explanation about that application. So maybe me, I'm learning. I love learn something new. So I need your email or your more uh, PowerPoint or material about that application. It's very helpful for our teaching learning process for elementary school. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Arnel Turiano and
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Christian Lamo too. Thank you. Nice to be part of you, awesome guys, today in this international webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Daniar. I think all of us very proud with bisa. You cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
Pakai ini,
Ada tidak tambahan kira-kira?
Iya. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Safa. I want to give the additional comment for this. Yeah, I would say thank you very much to the president of University of San Antonio, Philippines. I would say thank you very much to Mr. Jos Balasteros, Mrs. Dr. Aline. We always communicate every time. And then special to the speakers, from Philippines, Mr. Arnold Toriano and Mr. Christian Lamont. Yes, we know that just now we have gained the interesting topic from you all. Yes, so we can try to share it to each other about the situation that we have in our country. Yes, be related to the down about the learning innovation and challenge in elementary school in new normal era. So we have the additional knowledge with what the teachers do in University of San Antonio, how to try to manage the teaching learning process and how about the application that is to us, that is new for us, and then that's very important thing that we know about that. Thank you very much, Mr. Arnold and Mr. Lamont, for your for material today. We're so thankful about that. And then yes,
Here one question for Mr. Taruno.
you have a question?
Yeah. If about your application or website.
All right. Hello, good day, everyone.
Yeah. About your application that have you present just now, that should be commercial or free for everyone?
All right. So regarding the application which I used earlier, that's nearpod.com, which is free. Okay,
Free.
but as all right, yeah. But as what I observed earlier, there are limitations. Okay, I can only accept 40 participants in one classroom.
I see that.
So I think we can applicate it in
Yeah.
for our students.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for everyone who have be the presenter and also who have be the participant in this international webinar seminar. And we hope this is not only the last of our
Yeah.
international seminar, but should be continue for the next time. And seriously, I'm as a moderator feel happy today and very very excited.
I think all of us.
Yeah, all of us, because we found new information, new knowledge about the strategy, about something innovation in learning, and I think COVID-19 not should be finished, yeah, but he will be like our friend in our daily life.
Yes.
But
Our friend daily life.
I think one of impact is everyone must to be contribute for
Yes.
developing teaching and learning, and not to be puts us not to be
Desperate.
yeah, pessimistic. Yeah. Thank you for everyone, and we hope to be we can continue for the next international seminar. Uh, there is one greeting from our rector, Ibu Dr. Ode Alzarliani
No,
SPMM.
there is not. There's
Yeah,
not class.
there is not.
Yeah.
She does not attending for closing agenda because she has
There is
many
another meeting.
another meeting. Yeah. Thank you for one. Say you up your hand please and say you hello for everyone.
Maybe we have to take picture, all of
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Yes.
betul.
Ferdi, can you
Yeah.
please help us?
And I think you have to give your best smile.
Ferdi, are you ready, Ferdi? Please help us.
Wait for me.
Mrs. Dr. Alden, are you there? Oh yeah. Say cheese.
Once again. Okay.
Done.
Once again.